really do like that. Yeah. That really makes it feel more like a draft. Let me check and make sure these are right. Yep, that's good. Everything looks good. I think I'll do this darker. So let's do that. That'll be fun. Oh no. Oh, it's the worst. Man, there are so many commercials about every sad thing in the world trying to gather money. But, I mean, if you tried to watch a lot of TV without blocking that out, it could really probably affect you. Like, they say that there's people that are getting effectual diseases from watching people with effectual diseases on the internet. Like if someone has a particular issue that they deal with, and for some reason they're entranced by watching people deal with this issue, and then they start getting the issue. Well, all behavior is getting an issue, if you know what I mean. Like someone sending you a signal, it's an issue that you stand like this, or say this, or don't say like this, or do this, or don't do that. Everything is an issue. Everything is an aspect. And everything can be seen from more than one perspective. Alright, let's paint these. What am I doing? Kind of like preaching. Tara's grandpa called me a little preacher one day. He said, "You sound more like a preacher than an artist." I think it's because one of the reasons I do like this kind of activity is because it is so meditative, and it can really help you hone in on what you're thinking. But I'll tell you what, at this Christmas party I was at yesterday, I really realized that another friend of mine had told me that I have a chip on my shoulder, and I wasn't really sure what she meant, but I think I know, and I didn't want her to elaborate, because whatever she thought the chip was, whatever I think it is and figure out and know it is, maybe that's more important. But anyways, it keeps coming out over and over and over again. And I think it came out 3 times in a row in a tiny little conversation. And I don't want to do that. I want to be respectful of other people. But for some reason I just felt really like I could just start talking to this person about how I really felt about a couple things. They were telling me some, pretty deep stuff, and talked about a little bit of revenge, and I was like, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, this happened to me, and I didn't seek revenge because I know that, first of all, what happened was actions and words, right? And what I have are feelings, and they can't really go any farther out there than what I want them to go, And other people's actions, for the most part, because I live where I live, and I am existing in a time and space on the earth where there's relatively, well, I mean, there's people out to get you from every direction, don't get me wrong. But as for any kind of looming bombing or, I mean, there is COVID, don't get me wrong. One of our friends just found out we got it, and she found out like either the day or the day after the party we were just at. Well, I immediately got that orange tea and made a really hot boiling cup of water and dropped the tea in there and just started breathing that hot steam, and I haven't had any itches or anything because it's inhaled, right? For the most part. If it was lodged in my nostril trying to get in there, I knocked it out with hot steam. I don't know if that works. I think I read a small study that said that, my Star Trek's back on. It has to be done, says McCoy. Alright, so here we go. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go now. Alright, what are we doing? We are making a black color. The human is easily distracted. Now I am going to have to put some more white in here because that's a lot of space to cover. And I want to make sure I start with a lot. Yeah, that's going to be enough to do that whole area. Now I want to make sure that it's slightly darker than this, or slightly lighter than that. What do you think? Since this has got to be darker, because it goes in, if it goes in, if I decide to put that there. Okay, what color have I made? Oh. That's not going to work. That is not the right color at all.
shuttle craft was on schedule until it was shy 5 hours of rendezvous. Something happened.
Well, I feel like better a little more definite.
The wreck was no debris, no trace of expelled internal atmosphere, no residual radioactivity. Something took over. Factory speed. Something. He dragged it away and the heading went down.
But there are no further traces. How are we gonna follow?
So that's about as light as I think the floor should be. As far as stone goes, this is concrete right here. This is still a little bit lighter than that. I know I could go a little bit darker with this, but I want the dark and light, I think, really to be staying right here. Just this deconstruction of the sphere in this wall. I just love the movement that is there, so I'm not really going to mess with this. I love the way the paint. I just like that. I'm not going to mess with that. So everything else has to be either less dark or less light or have less contrast than this. Now I could put a dark wall in here, but I think I'm just going to, I don't know, I could do a little bit lighter than this on the stone wall. But now that if you make this a little bit darker, it kind of feels like a screen, which might feel kind of nice. And if I soften it down a little bit, it'll be drawn more to the center. So it's looking like this value right here is what I want to go with. Leonard Nimoy, so handsome.
It is wrong to keep us here against our will.
There's a lot of really good looking people on Star Trek. The ladies' outfits barely hanging on. Those are great. If you want to boost your readership, put some boobs and butt in there. I can't help but have it everywhere I go. It's always there. So what I think I'll do is whatever color this is, I will do this with it. And then if I need to redo the ceiling and the other darker, I can do that. Now I also want to sand this. I think if I sanded it, it might have a good effect.
What you offer us is not continuation, it is non-existence. We will cease to exist. Even the man will cease to exist.
think that's really too close. It's gonna be the same color because it's gonna dry a little bit darker. Alright, so we definitely need more black in there.
Adrian can be a little odd, a little out of the ordinary, but for San Francisco's finest, particular.
Alright, let me get this off.
Every Tuesday.
I thought my daughter might have come before now, but it's been nice having some time to chill and paint before I go into the land of babydom. It's a lot of attention. It's nice to have time to chill, especially if you've been working or doing a lot of social things. I can't wait to see my little babe. I'll be all refreshed and, just ready to do it because I've already done my thing for today. I think a lot of parents, it's easy for me to, right now, to do my thing every day, all day long, exactly how I want it, unless I am babysitting. Which is the only thing that I can think of wanting to do other than my art right now. Or do something related to family, or something fun socially, but I really am drawn to. I could have gone to see a movie last night. I just want to come home, Which is very normal for me because I always just want to come home. Lately, I haven't always been that way. I'm like, I want to stay out as late as I can. But that was because I was working, or I wasn't really working on my own things all the time. I think I also still had some kind of fantastic ideas of building some kind of a social circle, which has never gone well for me. I don't really know what's up with that, but there it is. I have a very few good close friends, which, to quote the ancients, is about all you can realistically expect. By definition, a friend is a person that's close to you, and by definition of what's close to a person, you can't be that close to many people. Even if you're doing something very public like I'm doing, I'm not really close to anybody. I'm hoping that maybe someone might get something out of what I'm doing, but I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying, I would like to sell some paintings, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. I'm not trying to, and I would actually like to further my agenda. Maybe I am like a maniacal, but my agenda is so, just to share the star knowledge. That's the biggest thing that I want to do. And I think it's no small thing to celebrate a small, well, it's not really a small thing. In a way, it's everything. Knowing about the answers to the age-old questions. Maybe somebody really does have answers and they're not telling me, but as far as I know, where we came from and what happens when you meet your maker, you've heard the stories about you see your life pass before your eyes. That's why you should only do good things in your life. And people actually have died and come back and said this kind of stuff, so I believe those experiences can be interpreted as religious experiences. But it seems that it's very natural for people to, whatever this design is, and I've always really just loved that word design as applied to a human, a self-replicating thing that I am, uh, I do like that description. Now this is turning back into what it was before. If I would have only known that I was going to want to make it the same color again. But I definitely don't want the black there. Alright. Got a little lump of black paint there. Make sure I'm still going. Yep.
So we were apart.
He is part of me.
You look, we will cease to exist. By your feeling for him, you are condemning him to an existence you find unbearable. You will cease to exist.
He does not age. He remains body.
I speak of the body. I speak of the spirit. Companion, inside the shelter, a female of our species is dying. She will not continue. That is what will happen to the man. Unless you release all of us.
I do not understand.
Our species can only survive if we have obstacles to overcome. You take away all obstacles. Without them to strengthen us, we will weaken and die. Regard the man only so that you amuse yourself.
You're wrong. A man is the center of all things. I care for his
must be gray.
Did you hope to gain her, did you? Try to convince her of hopelessness. Love sometimes expresses itself in sacrifice. Maybe she loved him. She let him go. She, or it, is inhuman, Kevin. Not expect her to react. Human. That's right.
So if you do a painting this large, just think ahead that you probably want to have, you know, if you have a blue like this, and especially if you're doing some layering and this and that, if you go to mixing or using your blue, make sure that you can take even little cups and just save a sample of that blue. So far I haven't done that, but it just popped in my head, you know, how much of your blue do you have? Do you have enough to keep going? Or do you do, you know?
And no one got hit by delivery applications.
I can't believe one restaurant is buying another restaurant to the kids to give out there. It sure is wonderful.
So if you're not getting Domino's, skip the delivery apps and order directly from a local restaurant.
And that's a lot. Is there any way we can get a better price?
Oh man, I forgot my stupid television's still on.
Just put a prescription on it.